Hi everyone. So welcome to this weekly tech tip from K20 Academy. My name is Atul, and in this week we are going to look at what's changed in a May 2018 update on Oracle Database Cloud Service. The major changes happened on DBaaS Monitor is no more available or is being replaced by SQL Developer Web. So let's look at what's changed in May 2018 on Oracle Database Cloud Service. So if you're a DBA or apps DBA or working on cloud or not working, this video is going to be useful as long as you're a DBA or apps DBA or are interested in becoming one. So first update is that SQL Developer Web or web version of Oracle SQL Developer has replaced DBaaS Monitor. So if you are working on Oracle database on cloud, you may be knowing that DBaaS Monitor is a management tool to manage Oracle database on cloud. So that's totally replaced by SQL Developer Web. Now we'll go in detail about this in a minute, but let's see what's second update. So now Oracle, if you're familiar, every quarter they release PSU or patch set update. So now the latest one was April 2018. So the April 2018 patch set update is now available to apply on Database Cloud Service. We're going to see how or where you can see these patches or how you can apply these patches. Then third is Oracle also have Apex, or also called as Application Express. So 5.1.4 is now available, and then you can, if you are creating a new database account or if you're registering a new account, then 5.1.4 is already available as part of Database Cloud Service. However, if you already have an account in database and you would like to change that, or you would like to bring your database cloud account onto the latest Apex version, then you can upgrade that. Fourth is about there are some additional changes or additional subcommands being introduced on BKUP API. That's automatic backup or the utility to backup Oracle database on cloud. And then fifth and final update was related to deployment on OCI. So Oracle has OCI or Oracle Cloud Infrastructure as well as OCI Classic. So on OCI version of Database Cloud Service or Database Cloud Service deployment OCI on OCI now supports 16 terabyte of storage volume. So let's look at each of these in detail one by one. So first and the most important is update 1, which is SQL Developer Web version is replaced or has replaced DBaaS Monitor. So if you already have an account in Database Cloud Service and you open the port 443, and I'm not going to go into detail about this opening port, but let's assume you have access to the web or 443 port on your public IP on which database is running. And if you go, you will still see that there is a DBaaS Monitor. So this DBaaS Monitor used to be to monitor the databases, and that DBaaS Monitor is no more now, or it's being replaced by SQL Developer Web. So this is something you need to update or upgrade on your database cloud account, and how to do that we are going to see that in a minute. So first change is about that there is no more DBaaS Monitor, or DBaaS Monitor is being replaced or used by SQL Developer Web. So this is how once you have introduced or once you have enabled SQL Developer Web, or if you are one of the latest versions, so this is how you're going to look like, or this is how SQL Developer is going to look like, or SQL Developer Web is going to look like. So now let's look at what is this SQL Developer Web if you are new to SQL Developer. So as I said earlier, DBaaS Monitor that used to manage and monitor Database Cloud Service or DBCS, it's now decommissioned. It's being replaced by Oracle SQL Developer Web for DBCS. And right now it's only available for single instance Database Cloud Service or single instance with DataGuard or standby database. It's not yet available for rack on cloud. Then what exactly is SQL Developer? SQL Developer is a web-based new application or browser-based application that incorporates features of both SQL Developer as well as DBaaS Monitor. And DBaaS Monitor is the one which used to work, or still on the older instances of database cloud service, still work to manage databases on cloud. Now there is a way to upgrade this go from DBaaS Monitor to SQL Developer for the existing DBCS instances. And if you are already running your databases on cloud, this is something you should change. And I'm going to cover that in a minute on how to upgrade that. Now, if you are doing a new deployment or new DBCS account, then you will automatically get SQL Developer Web already installed for you. However, if you are on an older version, or if you already have a DBCS account, that means DBaaS Monitor is going to work. However, if you want to replace, or if you want to upgrade that with SQL Developer Web, then you need to update the cloud tooling or database cloud tooling, which I'm going to tell you in how to do that. Now, what is this again? Just to repeat, what is this SQL Developer Web? It's a web interface, and it's a web version of the desktop version. So there is a desktop version of SQL Developer, and if you're a DBA, you might already be working on SQL Developer. So it's a web version of that same desktop tool. Now what it lets you to do, or what this SQL Developer Web let you do, you can run SQL statements or scripts in the worksheet, export data, and design the data model diagrams using SQL Developer. Now, similar to DBaaS Monitor, now SQL Developer Web also let database administrators to manage and monitor databases. It also provides a real-time SQL monitoring interface for monitoring the SQLs on database cloud service. Now, when you create an account or 12c database on the database cloud service or database on cloud, you automatically get a PDB, and you get a admin user called PDB admin. So as long as you're creating 12.1 or 12c database, you get a PDB with PDB admin. Now PDB admin user is by default automatically have access to the SQL Developer Web, and we're going to see how to access that, or how do you access this using PDB admin. However, if you're creating any additional users in PDB, then for these additional users or schemas, the SQL Developer Web must be enabled, or access must be enabled. So we are going to see that as well in how to do that. Now, how do you access this SQL Developer Web? It's accessible on port 443 on the database cloud service. So if you're already working on DBCS, or this is right now I'm talking about OCI Classic. So there are two versions of Oracle database cloud deployment. You can deploy it on OCI or OCI Classic. So if your database is deployed on OCI Classic, then you need to enable port 443. So there's a default rule that comes out of the box. You need to go and enable that route to allow port number 443 if you want to access it over the internet. Now, if you don't want to do that, if you don't want to allow for security reasons, you should not enable port 22, or sorry, not enable port 443. And so you can alternatively use SSH tunneling. So you're going via port number 22 onto port 443. So you're creating a SSH tunnel to access on 443. So the URL to access, you go to HTTPS and then IP address or public IP address of the database cloud service account where it's running, then do /ords and then /schema path. Now schema path will be, you will get that schema path when you register an account to enable for SQL Developer Web, and we'll see that as well in a minute. And then /_SDW. This is how you access the SQL Developer. As I said earlier, just now, schema path will be given at the time of enabling SDW or SQL Developer Web for schema. Now, if you're running it on 12c version of database, you get a PDB admin as a user, and schema for that, or schema path for that, is going to be name of the PDB and then /PDB admin. So if you have created an additional user in a database on the cloud and you want to give them access to the SQL Developer Web, how do you do that? So you go to the cloud and you connect as user OPC, and then switch user to the root, and you go to this folder called where opt Oracle OCDE assistant ORDS, and then you run, if you're 11G, you run this command, which is ORDS, and you say I'm enabling the schema, and you provide schema name, password, and the schema file, or sorry, the password file, and the password file is something you've already created in a plain text. Similarly for 12C, you run another or different command, slightly different command. That means you also give the PDB name in which the user is created. Now you see here, there's another option called ORDS SDW schema enable DBA and DBA boolean, which means true or false. And if you set it to true, then this user will also get admin or DBA privileges to do some task on SQL Developer Web. So be careful on whether when you enable this DBA or not for the user. So this is how you can grant an additional user which is in database cloud service or database on PDB on the cloud access to the SQL Developer Web. By default, only PDB admin has access to this SQL Developer Web. So this is an example or a screenshot where I've connected to the database on the cloud, and I've set my database to the PDB, and I've created a user called Atul, identified by a password, and then I've granted this user a schema session. So in this, what I'm trying to do is I'm going to trying to create a user and give this user access to the SQL Developer Web. Once it's done, I'm creating or I'm touching a password file. Then in this password file, I'm setting the permission to 600, and this is all this I'm doing from root user. Then I'm going to enter the password in this clear text, the password which I've created while creating this user. And then I'm running this command called ORDS, and I'm enabling this user for SQL Developer Web access. So make sure that before you enable this, if you're in an older version, you've already upgraded or you've already gone or upgraded the database tooling. And if you have not done, I'm going to show you in subsequent video or subsequent slide how you can enable. So I'm assuming you're already on a higher version or you are on the latest version of database cloud tooling. So once this is done, then you will get the verification or confirmation that if you see on right hand side bottom that says access SQL Developer Web through DBaaS landing page, the schema, and now it's giving me schema path which I'm going to enter or use on the URL. So it's saying schema is PDB1, which is my pluggable database, and also /Atul, and Atul is my schema name. So this is how I need to connect. So then what you do, you go to the browser, and I have enabled 443 port number via the security rule on OCI Classic. So then you go to and type the, or other option for you, you can do SSH tunneling on port number 22. So you go to the browser, type the public IP with HTTPS, and then /ORDS, and then schema or schema name for that. So schema is my pluggable database name, and then the schema name. So which is PDB1 /Atul, and then /_SDW. Once you do that, you're going to see the page or login page. Now, username should always be in uppercase. So this is something I've noticed, that username must be in uppercase. And then you provide password for this user and hit sign in, and you should be able to log in and land on a page or SQL Developer page for Oracle Database Cloud Service. So this is how this SQL Developer Web looks like on Database Cloud Service. Now, this all is going to work as long as you have created an account after May 2018. But what if you already have a Database Cloud account, and how do you migrate or upgrade from DBaaS Monitor to SQL Developer Web? And in order to do that, you need to update the cloud tooling for DBCS or Database Cloud Service. So how do you update the Database Cloud Service? Again, we also have a training on Oracle Database Cloud Service where we go and explain all this in detail. But for here, high level, you connect to your Database Cloud Service instance using PuTTY, and you switch, or as OPC user and you switch to the root user. Then you run this DBaaS CLI. So DBaaS CLI is the command line utility to apply patches on database, and you say list tools. So you're running this dbpatchm subcommand within DBaaS CLI and you say list tools, and it will tell you all the patches available for on that particular machine or cloud account. Then you do RPM minus QA, which is basically you're querying the RPM and say what is the version of DBaaS tool RPM. Once you know what URL version and what's available from the previous command, then you can apply the latest cloud tooling using DBaaS CLI command and within that dbpatchm subcommand, and then you say -- run and then tool inst or tools inst, which means you're installing the tool. And then RPM version is equal to the patch ID that you received from the first command, which was list tools. And finally, once it's upgraded, so what it's going to do is it's going to download the latest RPM or packages from Oracle Public Cloud and then install it on your account on the database cloud service. Once that's done, you will get a confirmation message, and then you reset your backup configuration using this bkup command, which is a command line interface to back up your database cloud. Now, for all this, log file are going to be under where. So when you're applying the latest tool or upgrading your database tools on the cloud, in order to see the SQL Developer Web version, the log file will be under where opt log and dbpatchm. So this is where the database patches, when you apply the patches log go. So this is where an example where I've done it on my account, on my cloud account. We have connected using OPC user. Then we switched to the root user. And from root user, then we executed DBaaS CLI dbpatchm -- or -- run -list tools. So it has given me all the tools, and at the bottom, if you see, it says patch ID 18.2.3.1.0. And then there is a date, which is 18/05/05, which means this patch was released on 5th of May 2018. Then I'm going and running the RPM QA to see what patches I have already installed. So if you notice, it says DBaaS tools, and I'm getting 18/01/23, which means the patches which I have for DBaaS tool was applied on 23rd of January 2018. So in the next command, I'm applying the patch which is 18/203 or 18.2.3 with the timestamp 18/05/05, which means 5th of May 2018. Once this is all, it will take roughly around 5 to 10 minutes. So let it run. It's going to download those patches or this RPM and apply that or update the latest DB tool or database cloud tool. Then once it's done successfully, then run the same command again, query the DBaaS patch tool, and this time you're going to see 18.2.3 with the timestamp 18/05/05, which means 5th of May 2018. So this is how you update the database cloud tooling. And once you get it, then you can go and enable this SQL Developer Web. And for additional users, by default, it will be enabled for PDB admin. Once you have updated your tools, you should be then able to access the SQL Developer Web for PDB admin. If you want it for additional users, you go and enable for additional users as shown in a previous step. So just to do a recap on before we move on to the next one. So the first change has been that DBaaS Monitor has been replaced by SQL Developer Web. This is how the SQL Developer Web look like. And in order for you to enable the SQL Developer Web, if you are in an older version, you need to update your DB or database cloud tools or tooling. Once you have updated the database cloud tooling, and if you want to give some additional users or additional database user access to the SQL Developer Web, depending on whether you're in 11G or 12C, you run appropriate ORDS command. This is the example I've shown you earlier on how to do that. Then you log in. So you type the URL and you log in using the user. So in order for you to log into this SQL Developer Web, you use it uses database schema authentication. And by default, PDB admin is enabled if you're 12C. This is how you go and enable your cloud or update your cloud admin tool or cloud tooling for database cloud service. So that was the first change. Now let's look at second change. So Application Express or Oracle Application Express, that comes out of the box. So also called as Apex, that comes out of the box with database cloud service. However, there is a older version of that comes. So once your database tools are updated, so you need to make sure that cloud tooling are always updated for any of the new changes. And I've already shown you how to update those cloud tooling. So then once that's done, you go and update or you are ready to update the Application Express. Very quickly, what is Application Express? It's nothing but a rapid development tool or database development tool that helps you to design, develop, and deploy database-driven web application accessible through web browser. Now, Apex is similar to SQL Developer Web. Apex is also available only for single instance database cloud service. It's not available for rack yet. And there's a step on for you to upgrade available depending on what version of Apex you are on the database cloud service. You can then upgrade it to the latest version, that's 5.1.4 as of May 2018. If you want to check what's current version you have, you can look at DBA registry table and look at component ID Apex. How do you access it? Again, Apex is also accessible via the port number 443. And depending on if you're on a 12C, you can directly go to OAuth to the IP or public IP. And again, you either enable port 443 or you use SSH tunneling. And then if for 12C, you go to ORDS and then /lowercase -PDB, or in lowercase, you need to put it the PDB name. For if you're an 11G database, then you go to the public IP and then /Apex. So this is how you access Apex. You can also go and look at the database cloud service page or database cloud service page or console, and then go to appropriate database. This is what I've shown you, and right hand side on the hamburger menu, click on that and look at Open Application Express console. If you're doing it from here, either port 20 or SSH 443 is enabled for SSH tunneling, or you have gone into and enabled that rule from the compute instance from OCI Classic. Now, how do you log in, or what username and password you use? So depending on the default workspace, in Apex, there's something called as workspace. So you're going to use internal workspace and default user called admin. And then the password you set or system password that you created during database cloud service creation or database creation time. So use that password and click on sign in. So this is how you log into Apex. So that's second. So first was that DBaaS Monitor is replaced by SQL Developer Web. Second is that there is a higher version of Apex. Now let's look at the third update, which is patch set update. So as I said earlier at the start of this this video, that Oracle patches or releases patches on a quarterly basis. All the security, bug fixes, and all sort of patches they release on a quarterly basis. So recently Oracle introduced April 2018 patches, and those patches are now available within your, or should be available in your database cloud service account. So how you do, you again go to the specific instance of the database cloud page or database on cloud page. So we are right now on demo K21 page or database. When you go to on that specific page or the database instance page, go to the tile administration, and on right hand side you look at patches, and under patches you will now see two patches depending on when your account was created. So you will also see the patch set update for, so patch set update for 12.102. So this is a database I have 12.102 18.04.17, which means it's year 2018, 04 April and on 17th. So this patch was released on 17th of April 2018. You can go and apply these patches by doing the prerequisite. So that's another or fourth update. Now, fifth and the final update is that database cloud service on OCI. Now, there are two types of deployment as I said earlier. So DBCS can be deployed on OCI or OCI Classic. Now, if you want to know more about what is difference between DBCS or what is OCI and OCI Classic, I have a dedicated or I have a free masterclass which I'm going to tell in a minute, but you can look about that on by going to k20academy.com/ISS02. The URL k20academy.com/ISS02, where I've given a 90-minute masterclass on OCI, OCI Classic, and what are the components, building blocks of OCI. So if you want to know more about, go and have a look at that masterclass on DBCS on OCI or OCI versus OCI Classic. So DBCS on OCI now supports 16 terabyte of block volume. Now again, there are different type of storage. So we are right now talking about block volume. There's an object volume. Or object storage. There are different type of storage. So the DBCS on OCI now supports 16 terabyte of. So this is what, as I said to you earlier, there are two type of ISS options, OCI versus OCI Classic. On a high level, OCI Classic only you have a virtualization layer, whereas OCI, which is a earlier bare metal cloud service, has two options. You can either go for bare metal or VM. And if you're going for virtual machine option, then OCI uses KVM based hypervisor, whereas OCI Classic uses Xen based hypervisor, and there are a few other changes as well available. So as I said earlier, go and have it if you want to go deep into, and I think if you're a DBA, apps DBA, if you're working on cloud as a DBA, you must know OCI as well. So go and look at that masterclass, which is k20academy.com/ISS02. That's absolutely free for you. So these are some of the core services in OCI, and so I'm not going to go in detail here, but if you look at now, there is a database. You can deploy this database or you can quickly create database on OCI. However, if you need a storage, you can use a block storage and now, or block volume. So you can go onto the storage. This is a console from OCI, Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. And if you're creating or deploying the database on OCI, you can deploy or you can use the 16 terabyte block volume on for your databases. So that's the fifth and final change that happened or introduced in 2018, or better to say May 2018. So just to do a quick recap, it's the update one was about SQL Developer Web has totally replaced by DBaaS Monitor. And if you're already running database on cloud, you must upgrade your database cloud tooling to the latest version using the step I showed you earlier, so that you get SQL Developer Web. Second was that April 2018 patch set update are available inside DBCS, so make sure you apply those patches. Then there's a newer version of Apex or Application Express. So upgrade, or if you're using Apex, make sure you upgrade your Apex to 5.1.4. There is a new additional subcommands added into bkup_API, which is a tool to back up the databases on cloud. And then finally, DBCS deployment on OCI now supports 16 terabyte of storage volume. Well, that's it pretty much from me, Atul Kumar, and team K20 Academy, covering what's latest or what's changed in May 2018. Now, if you are a DBA, if you're working on Oracle, or as an apps DBA, or anything around Oracle, then I highly recommend you to join our private Facebook group. We are now close to 4,000 plus members, where we discuss all about cloud and specific Oracle cloud. You will also get a chance to download a free step-by-step guide, so that you can register free for Oracle Public Cloud and get a trial account, so that start your journey onto the cloud. This is the same guide that we use in pretty much all our Oracle Cloud trainings. So this is a very detailed step-by-step instructions, so that you can get Oracle Cloud. So don't forget to join this private Facebook group. Also, if you would like to continue receiving latest update or new features or tips and tricks or how-tos related to Oracle, don't forget to go and subscribe to our blog that is available on k20academy.com/blog. We have 23,000 plus subscribers for this blog, and you'll be getting on a weekly basis tips, tricks, how-tos, and troubleshooting videos on all related to Oracle. Well, that's it from me for this week, and thanks for listening. And don't forget to, if you like this video, don't forget to share with your colleagues and friends, and do like us on Facebook. And I'll see you in next week. Bye for now.